Hey, Erin.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I was drooling over the pictures of all of your confections and baked things, and oh my gosh, amazing. You're
Well,
such a cake genius.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So your procrastinating book could not be coming at a better time. I mean,
Maybe,
I
maybe
don't know.
yes, maybe no.
No, I shouldn't say it like that. I
No, no, no,
shouldn't.
no. I know exactly
Any
what you're
time would
saying.
be good.
Yeah.
It's a great cookbook. Talk about the concept of procrastinating and how this whole thing just like exploded after the New York Times article when you were
Yeah.
photographed and all the rest.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you were saying because this is a good time to bake at home. I know a lot of people, especially with their kids, are at home with like, okay, homeschooling's done like middle of the day. What do we do now? And I find myself in that position like daily.
How old are your kids?
They're 4 and 9. The 4-year-old is about to be 5. We're celebrating all birthdays in quarantine this year, so
Wow.
it, it's gonna be it. We my 9-year-old, it was right at the beginning of all of this. He turned 9 on March 18th, so we had a quarantiki party with just the four of us. So it was a nice little celebration this year, but the whole procrastinating thing actually started for me when I was writing my last book, Erin Bakes Cake, because I blew off a day of writing for that book. Well, all's well that ends well, right? Um, and I just baked other things because I needed to get my mind in a different place. And I took a picture of what I baked and I posted it on Instagram with hashtag procrastinating, the baking I'm doing when I should be doing other baking. And and when Julia, and then 2 years later, literally like a year and a half, 2 years later, Julia Moskin from the New York Times DM'd me on Instagram and was like, "Hey, I'm writing a story about procrastinating. Would you want to be in it?" And who says no? So I said of course, and so we talked, and I said ridiculous things, and the rest was history. It rolled right into the book. After the article hit, my literary agent called me and she was like, maybe there's a procrastinating book. And I said, okay, yeah, maybe there is. And I've kind of made my name in the sweets world as a cake person. So this was a really fun extension of that, where I got to get to share all of the recipes that I bake in my other times, like cookies and snack cakes and breakfast stuff and savory stuff, like the things that I make when I'm at home, um, with my family.
That's awesome. I want to try your Fruit Loops, like Rice Krispie treat with Fruit Loops. I've
Oh,
not tried that, and we actually have some Fruit Loops here, which I shouldn't even admit, but we do anyway. So until they run out, I think we could,
you're not going to find me judging your cereal choices. So you could tell me anything was in your pantry and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've let go of the guilt at this point, but
Yeah, that's a
um,
good thing.
um, but so, and also in your introduction, even in the procrastinating baking book, you were talking about how you procrastinated even writing your introduction to the book. Like it's
I
also
did.
like
I did. Well, it was the funniest thing because as I was in it, um, I went through this really weird process because baking has just been my outlet my entire life, my entire career. I started as a restaurant pastry chef, moved into cake, so it's just always been food. So when I was writing this book about the things that I do to avoid my other work, I was like, I can't do this to avoid it because this is what I have to do. What am I gonna do? so so yeah, so it led to some creative choices along the way.
that's really funny. It's like when you write about your vice, and then it
Yeah.
suddenly is no longer a vice.
No, now it's like what I have to talk about, and like everyone's excited about it, and I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it was good that I was doing that all along.
So funny. So, like, what have you been baking this week? What are some of the things you've made?
Well, I mean, I've since it's just the four of us, I've really been trying to, having to kind of ration out what I bake. I don't want to make a ton of trips to the store. Um, it's really only just us to eat it. I love adventurous flavors. I love fruity flavors. I love interesting flavors. I live with 3 people who are like chocolate and caramel, and that's what we like.
Okay.
So, I've done some cookies, just some like simple straight up chocolate chip cookies. I did magic bars, and I like reduced the recipe so it just was baked off in like a loaf pan, so that way we had just a little bit of treat. Um, and then I'll definitely do some baking this week for us to have a little Easter celebration. So maybe some coconut macaroons, and I was thinking about doing a little loaf cake size carrot cake for us to have, on Easter.
That's a good idea. We have some carrots. We should do that, actually.
Yeah.
I've never actually made a carrot cake at home.
And I'll tell you a little trick.
Tell me.
If you find a recipe that's for like a 9 by 13 baking dish, like a sheet cake recipe. If you cut that recipe into a third, you can bake it off in a loaf pan.
Excellent.
So it's just a good, now since we're not, I don't know how many people you're self-isolating with, but I don't need a sheet cake right now.
I could actually use a sheet cake. I have 4 kids, and
okay.
my twins, who are the oldest, are almost 13, and my son alone could sort of take down a sheet cake at this point. He's like growing an inch a night, I feel like.
If you have 2 13-year-olds in the house, maybe you don't need that reduction.
Yeah.
That's a lot to feed right now.
Do you feel like, so when you bake, is that like your total Zen state? Like you lose track of time and like that's just your happy place, or not?
It really depends. I would have to say like when I really go to like the world can't bother me is when I'm decorating. That's sort of my artistic outlet. When I'm baking, a lot of the times I get it's still fun for me, but I'll get like into it maybe a little too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where we're like, and what if I did this next time? And why is this 3/4 of the cup? Why should why would 2/3 do? So I overanalyze it. And my husband can attest to this. Like I just can't eat something and be like, that was good. I'm happy now. Like I'm just like, what if this had less salt? What if this had more salt? So when I'm into that kind of stuff, like I can get a little too much like back into work mode. But when I'm decorating, that's when I just let it go.
Your cakes are so gorgeous. My favorite was the one, it looked like the rope from, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like there was like a rope around it.
No, I've done a couple different kinds of rope cake, both with like piped buttercream and back in the day when I had my wedding cake shop with fondant kind of sculpted details and things like that.
So fun. And you won like Food Network challenges. Was that crazy to do that?
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was wow, that was when my son was 1, so that was like 8 years ago now. But I was on Food Network Sweet Genius, and I won an episode on that, and it was crazy. Like I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. This is crazy. I'm stressed out. So it's but it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a great experience. I'm happy that I did it. I made weird things, and it all worked out. So I can't complain.
So cool. Well, thank you, Erin. Thanks for coming on my little show, and I would love to talk more to you on my podcast. So we can have like a longer, that would be fun, chit chat around.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Let me check. I'm good. So if whatever you want to have me on, I would love to do it.
Okay, awesome. We'll find a time. All right. Well, thank you. And now I think I might actually go try to make carrot cake today. And I would never have done that had we not talked. So there we go.
Yay. Well,
thank you. Okay. Bye, Erin.
Bye.